Sunday roast. You join us for the first Sunday roast on a Sunday, because otherwise the name wouldn't make sense. You join us in Huma HQ with the little banner behind us. It is my spare room. I do feel like some sort of Islamic fundamentalist doing their suicide video, Death to the West and all that. I think we've all been a bit too nice to each other during this lockdown, so I think it's about time we start to be a bit harsher. So tonight we're going to do a roast battle between two of Huma's favourite comedians, one being Mr. Jimmy Rudiger. Say hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
Well done, Jimmy. It's the first joke out of the way. And another Huma favourite, which is Tom Alban. Say hi, Tom.
Hello.
As energetic as ever. That was slightly low energy for you, Tom.
I'm holding it back.
You're holding back. Right. Cool. So for those who haven't seen a roast battle before, Tom and Jimmy are going to go at it hammer and tong. We're slinging 5 insults / jokes at each other, both allowed to reply to each other, and then you, the audience, will get to vote on your favourite roastee. So this is going to go about lunchtime on a Sunday. Probably don't play it over your Sunday roast, actually. It might upset the kids. And then you've got till 9 o'clock tonight to vote for your favourite in the comments. And then I'll flick through at some point, count them on all 6 of my fingers, and then we'll decide the winner. But yeah, I think it's about time that we start to be a bit more savage to each other, because I'm going to go out and say it. It's a bit of an unpopular opinion, I think, guys, but fuck the key workers. I think everyone is saying all these lovely things about the key workers, but fuck them. Before the lockdown, I waited about 3 hours in Timpson's for a key to be cut, and it took, I think it's ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, this lockdown's happened, and it's all key workers this and key workers that. And yes, that was just a shitty pun on key workers. So hopefully, some of the jokes will be a bit better from Jimmy and Tom. Jimmy, have you got any opening statements you'd like to say?
I've been training really hard for this, to be honest. This was the first time in about a month I've had a purpose in my life. What I've been doing is I've been running up and down the stairs saying Tom's a prick to get the cardio ready to really lay into him. It's not worked at all. Probably so.
Yeah.
Done fuck all, already breathless, so all good.
And you, Tom, how have you prepared for this?
I just haven't wanked for a couple of days, about it, really.
You haven't wanked. Fair enough.
I'm stored up.
Yeah, you haven't done a cum today.
No, I haven't done a cum today. Oh, you're using my lines already.
I know, it's brilliant. I like the fact you've actually put a t-shirt on tonight.
Yeah. Normally, whenever I speak to Martin, I'm not wearing a shirt. I mean, normally whenever I speak to most people, I'm not wearing a shirt. Beauty of lockdown, really.
Yeah. And then usually I am coming. So it is a bit of a weird one tonight. Okay. So I think we decided before we drew straws. We were 2 meters apart. They were quite long straws.
Don't worry about it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I think we'll just kick off with Mr. Tom Alban. You go ahead.
All right. Jimmy hangs out with another fat piece of shit called Jason Overman. Together, they look like the hairy bikers if they ate ready meals and came in each other's beards. When they hang out, they like to cover each other in flour just to find the wet bits. Then they scoop out the literal man batter created in each crevice and use it to make a deep-fried Mars bar.
Wow. It's quite hurtful to be roasted about my appearance by Tom. Tom's clearly quite an attractive man. He's got a face for TV. And specifically, I mean that time in the 70s that everybody was fucking kids on the down low. Tom actually handpicked me to be his victim tonight, which is bizarre because I'm neither underage or unconscious. I also feel like Tom gives off a little bit of like fuckboy energy, as in he fucks little boys. And the only reason he stays so fit is to chase down his victims as they try to escape.
Oh my God. All of this coming from the fucking teacher I had at school, who literally used to make us take our shoes off in class because he was. That's what you look like, Jimmy, just so you know. His name's Dr. Patson. He's a real piece of shit. Anyway, here's my joke. Jimmy's low energy is almost feline in nature. But he's not so much the Tiger King as the house cat baron. Joe Exotic's like, I got 176 tigers, 3 husbands, and a shit ton of crystal meth. Fuck you. Jimmy's like, I've got 7 house cats. No. And sometimes I let the cats eat tuna off my perineum. Jimmy's not Joe Exotic, he's the creepier cousin, probiotic. Instead of enticing straight men with meth, he grooms children with Yakult. Once your gut is clean, I'll let you touch my pussy.
This is coming from someone who looks like he sucks off men in nightclubs and then says no homo with a mouthful of cum. Tom is quite a big fan of musicals. A lot of his routines involve singing and dancing. Not to mention the fact he spent most of his formative years playing rugby with the lads. And I know what you're thinking, and unfortunately the stereotype about musical-loving rugby players is true. By which I mean he is a cunt.
That's where we're stopping.
Stopping.
You're calling me a cunt for liking two different things. It's 2020, Jimmy. All right? You're the guy with the fucking haircut that looks like you should be doing a blog right now, and you're fucking pulling me out on being on liking things that are, one, masculine, and then also potentially not. Come on, man. Either be a blogger or don't. All right? Right, next one. Jimmy looks like the result of if a guinea pig fucked a toad. He either looks like a reptile with unwanted hair or a rodent with an extra chromosome. Kids walk past his cage in PetSmart and the employees say, "Don't look at it in the eyes or start masturbating." We call it the abomination. Then the kid said, "But he's already masturbating." And then the staff replies, "Actually, as long as there's death in the world, then this creature will continuously masturbate. And sometimes when it comes, it shits out of its mouth." Then a chinchilla snuck into his cage at night and bit his dick off. Jimmy, you dickless rodent toad.
Thank you, sentient can of Lynx Africa, who wanted to become a real boy and its wish came true.
That's those words.
I've made fun of Tom quite a lot, but Tom actually does have all the tools to make it quite big as a star. He's good looking, he's charming. He has a long list of children ready to accuse him of sexual abuse. He's clever, great voice. He's already in prison shape for when his victims come forward. And make no mistake, Tom is going down faster than his child victims when he roofies their fruit shoots.
The guy who's talking about victims, the guy who literally looks like the molecule for COVID-19, just round. In a week's time, you might feel some symptoms, dude. You are the friend zone of diseases. Anyway, Jimmy's 29 years old, but look at him. He's had a tough go of it so far. Jimmy's face looks like someone diarrheaed through the gaps of a Monster Munch. But it started at school. The kids would say, "Kick the monster, stab its face." You'll often find Jimmy in a long black coat outside a high school. Jimmy's the most unsuccessful high school shooter of all time, because every time he gets taken down by a year 7, then he gets hogtied, then he gets a boner and says, "Spared my mouth." At the end of the day, after all this, his mum has to pick him up, and then she tucks him in bed, pulls an AR-15 out of her gaping vagina, and says, "Use this next time, my round little paedophile."
Can't wait for my mum to see this. Speaking of which, Tom's actually told me several times he takes his strong work ethic from his mother. He actually has three jobs to try and emulate just how hardworking she is. He pays the same tribute to his father by finger blasting children in the playground behind his house.
Okay, we're going for mother's work ethics, coming from the guy who literally takes anti-estrogens to stop his tits from lactating. Jimmy's favourite cocktail is one he makes himself. It's called Jimmy's Tears and Tit Milk. He mixes it together. He loves that shit. Yeah. Anyway, on the 30th of May, 1991, Jimmy was born. No! On the 30th of May, 1991, Jimmy was belched from the cunt of the underworld. When Jimmy fell out of the vast vagina containing him, his father screamed. Jimmy's father was a weak man, spineless. The only thing weaker than his jawline was his constantly flaccid penis. But there lay Jimmy, haunting in appearance, like a flesh-covered bowling ball, crying indifferently. Wah, wah, wah. To be rid of the monstrosity, his parents took him to Hollywood Bowl in hope that they would lose him amongst the other balls. They'd use his bum and dick hole for grip and bowl him, knocking down pin after pin after pin after pin until one day the creature did not return. Jimmy survived by drinking the leftover grease from the fryer. He'd often plug the hole where his penis should be with a leftover hot dog, until one day he grew too big for people to bowl him. And that was the day he decided to find his parents. He rolled his way to their house and knocked on the door. His father answered and began to cry like a pussy. He said, "Jimmy, my son, you are no longer a bowling ball, for you have become a space hopper."
Oh, we should.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to reply, Jimmy.
Oh, fucking, I lost track on that one, though, to be fair. I didn't think this was going to be such a fucking epic. Jesus Christ.
I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest, Tom, because I was fully expecting you to have a song for me. Well, I mean, in that vein, you know, I've watched a lot of your routines, and I thought to myself, musical comedy, how hard can it be? So I took some inspiration from a couple of my heroes, Jedward, and I thought, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to butcher, do some solid vanilla ice for you.
Okay.
And this is gonna be so bad, Martin. You're gonna have to edit this like 6 times. Parents, grab a chair and listen. Tom Alban's been on a secret mission. He wants to touch your kids on their puckered bums. His daydreams would make even Ian Watkins come. So Tom, we all know this. Comedy is a cover for all the abuse you took from your dad and your mother. So sit back, humour, and crack open a tinny, because you just saw Tom roasted by Big Bant's Jimmy.
Okay. I guess now we know what it would be like if Louis Capaldi had zero musical talent.
Exactly the same, I'd assume.
Oh, come on, he's not here to defend himself with that one, Jimmy.
No.
Oh well, that's it. I've lost count. I think that's 5 each, isn't it?
No, it's 5 each.
Yeah, give yourself a round of applause. Let's go crazy. Woo! All 3 of us, well done. I did like your last statement there, Jimmy. Before you did your last joke, which musical comedy, how hard can it be? Because there is an old saying that a musical comedian is not talented enough to be a musician and not funny enough to be a comedian. But I think you've taken that to a whole new level there. Well done. Fucking vanilla iced tea. And Tom, nice. I did like your Norse epic as your final joke. That was very good. And
they normally end up like that, so
they do. And the voice came back. I was waiting for the narrative voice. That was lovely. Cool. That is our roast battle between Jimmy and Tom. If you liked what you've seen and you've got a favourite, comment in the comment section below. This is going to go on Facebook and Instagram, so you probably know that because you're watching it on either one of those platforms. We'll be back next week, probably a Sunday, as it's Humour Comedy's Sunday roast. So do tune back in next Sunday with 2 new pairings for a roast battle. If you've liked what you've seen, we've been Humour Comedy. If you haven't liked what you've seen, we've been Gonzo's Comedy. I'm going to say that even though it's not a live gig, and fuck it. Yes, like, follow, subscribe, share, and do some other shit as well. Give it up one more time. You're at home, so I can't hear it, but I want you to applaud because we're all losers in this lockdown. Give it up for Jimmy Rudiger and Tom Alban. Jimmy Rudiger and Tom Alban. I've been Martin Westgate. I'll see you later. Thank you. Good night.